And we are live. Cullen is back.
What? How
It's
you
been a
doing, buddy?
lot. Good, man. Real good. It's been a long time coming.
It has. I feel like we talked about it several times and just can never find the time to make it shake.
Yeah, I think before the first time I went to Illinois, we were trying to, and
That's
then I
right.
did it again.
Oh, and I missed out on both of them. I do appreciate the invite both times, though.
Oh, of course.
What are you
Mm,
sipping on there? A little lemonade?
this is not lemonade. Um, so I'm doing carnivore this month.
Boy.
Fresca, not to be confused with fresco, has fucking nothing in it.
Yeah, it's sparkling grapefruit water.
It just tastes delicious. And then if you add 1800 tequila to it, it's really good.
Now you're
But
talking.
that's right. Now we're talking the same language. It's got potassium and sodium and 0.01 grams of protein. So I'm like, you know, this is a weight loss shake.
What
So
what all you doing with the carnivore diet? Just straight protein?
yeah, just straight up. I'm not even doing cheese. I had a little bit. I had one of the kids' cheese strings last night as like a snack just for something different. But I've got pepperettes from the butcher, so there's not a
Mhm.
bunch of shit in them. And then there's quite a bit of fat in the pepperettes too. And then I'm doing medium ground beef. Tonight I had a big ass T-bone steak. I did a pork tenderloin the other night. Yeah, man, I fucking love this diet.
Yep.
This is I did keto
Yeah.
and well, I didn't mind it because I was so heavy. Right. So as soon as my body gets into ketosis, it can have as much energy as it wants. I have an unlimited amount because I'm so heavy.
You look like you've been dropping weight though, dude.
I'm down 6 pounds.
Yeah, you
It's
look good.
crazy.
Yeah.
It it's crazy. Actually, yeah. Well, man, since the summer, I settled everything down a little bit past the summer, and I think I if I had weighed myself in the summer, I probably would have been upset.
Yeah. I'm upset with
Um,
right now.
yeah.
Putting on that sympathy baby weight.
There you go. You can call it whatever you want.
Yeah.
Be
Yes, sir.
like this is sympathy weight. Just like I didn't ask you to do that. All right.
It's a wonderful cop out. No, dude,
Ah.
with the carnivore diet, it's really awesome. My brother's been doing it for 2 years, and I've been doing it for a while now. And the first 2 months, it sucks. You basically hate eating, but after that, your body gets used to it, and it's an awesome thing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm pretty content. I like lots of salt, and I'm doing basically salt, pepper, garlic powder, and a little bit of steak spice
Mm-hmm.
in the ground beef. And man, I could eat that every day.
Hell yeah.
I just envision it's a steak someone ground up.
Right. Right.
But I got into ketosis really quickly. Like
What is it about this? I hear people
um
say it all the time when they're talking about dieting.
so the two I got these little sticks that you pee on, and then it just reads what you're free, whatever. But basically when you're eating carbohydrates and sugar, it's glycogen, something like it's sugar, effectively. And that's what your body uses as fuel. But because your body's made not to do that, it spikes in insulin, which then brings that back down, which makes you eat more, which brings it back down, which makes you eat more. So you have these like rippling effects of like awake asleep.
Oh,
Like
wow.
when you eat a big carby lunch and then you feel like having a nap, that's exactly what you're talking about. So then what ketones is, or being in ketosis, is when your body is doing the other thing where it's using fat. So that whether that be you're eating the fat or it's stored fat, it's like flipping the engine over to using a different source of
Right.
energy. But when it starts doing that, your mental clarity is crazy. Um, you just have all this energy because if you're typically when you start dieting, you're heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're using fat as your go-to energy source, it's you just have so much of it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. But I
Yeah.
mean, three days in is pretty impressive to be in like full blown.
My wife and I just signed up 2 days ago. On no, on Tuesday, the day after New Year's, we signed up for a gym. And then when we walked in to sign up for it, I realized, holy shit, it's the day after New Year's. Everyone's gonna think we're doing this New Year's resolution. So it felt super douchey, but with
Ah,
with her being pregnant, and myself gaining a little bit of weight, we just thought it'd be good to make a change and do it together. Plus, her gym's like 3 blocks from her work,
Hmm.
so she goes on her lunch break with a couple of girls and they absolutely crush it. And then I go after work every other day. And it's been good. It's been a good first week.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, and it doesn't do any damage. Like, unless you're being stupid. But I mean, being a little bit more active, man. Like, I talk to people about just getting back to the gym, and I'm like, just spend a half an hour there. Just like fucking sit down in the lobby, but just
Mhm.
spend 30 minutes at the gym every day. And by your second day, there's no way you could sit in that lobby anymore. You'd be so fucking bored. Yeah.
And I lift heavy stuff all day long.
Oh, totally.
Like you do. I'm not in there to get strong. I'm in there to get healthy. So I don't like running. I
Mm,
I've got under a 10-minute mile right now, and I'm very proud of that. But
Jesus.
I get so burnt so quick. So what I started doing is swimming laps. And I'll
There you
tell you,
go.
you want to talk about a full body workout. You swim a couple, 2, 3 back and forth in an Olympic sized pool, you are gassed by the end of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely gassed.
The nice thing about those full body workout being gassed, like swimming, I think about that as like my cousin does all the CrossFit stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and he will like destroy your body like energy wise in like 45 minutes. But then an hour after that, you don't feel like you were that pooped.
Right.
As opposed to like when I go to the gym, I'm typically doing like a bodybuilding, like high volume, like all
Right.
that kind of shit. So like 2 days later, you really feel
Oh yeah.
like you had a workout. But when you're doing things like swimming, you're gassed, and then it's almost like you replenish way faster. So you could do it every day if you wanted to.
Well, it's like a burnout set. You do a heavy
Yeah,
burnout set, and then 10 minutes later, you're ready to go again.
yeah, that's super neat, man. I would love to have a pool
Mm-hmm.
at the gym.
It's nice. What's even nicer is there's they call it a wading pool, but it's 9 inches deep, and it's right next to the Olympic sized pool, so you can put your kids in there while you're swimming laps,
Oh,
occupied. Which that's huge because the gym I go to has a full daycare facility. You drive your kids in for an hour and a half and let them go work out. It's a pretty slick setup.
yeah.
Yeah, super convenient.
This new gym's got a fucking barber in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, dude. And
Oh,
there's some people in the community that make like different types of drinks and different types of meals, and like it's like so you can go in there and buy like a meal prep meal any day of the week and it's fresh.
fuck yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it's a little bougie, but I mean like why wouldn't you do that? Especially if you were just like struggling to pay your bills or whatever or yeah, man, that's just fucking brilliant business
Oh, absolutely.
plan.
How was your holidays?
So good, man. Yeah, it was really good. It was different because Brawley wasn't here. This is the first time ever I haven't had him on Christmas, but I mean, we kind of took a look at the schedules of him going. So he's in Antarctica. I don't know if you knew that.
Like lives there?
Um, no, no, like he went.
Oh, like
That was
holy
his
shit,
Christmas adventure with his mom.
that's
But
awesome.
well, they've been trying to do it since before COVID, right? And it was like when do you take the time off of his schooling? Because he's pretty dedicated in his schooling. And then when is he ever going to have, because it's like a month. Like you
Hmm.
got to get down there to then spend some time and then you got to get back.
Yeah.
So we were like, he's 13 now. Things are going to start really mattering in school. So it's like he's got to go. And then it was Christmas and it was just made sense. And he's on a fucking event, Christmas penguin adventure or whatever you want to
All right,
call it.
you can't be you can't. I mean, obviously you want to see your boy on Christmas, but it's like
Hmm.
how often do you get to go to Antarctica? And
Yeah,
that's
never.
no puddle jump. I mean, that's a huge commitment to do something like that.
Yeah, South Pole.
Yeah, that's nuts, man.
Yeah, it was pretty cool though. But other than that, it was good. And then we also got to focus on Scarlett, like she's 5, right? So it like,
I got a 5 year old.
Christmas was Christmas, right? With, her being 3 and 4, I don't think she really understood like Santa's coming,
Mm-hmm.
and like the magic of it all. Um, so it was good. Yeah, it was a good time.
I gotta ask. I on the Christmas episode with you, Cam, and Aaron, you guys kept talking about Boxing Day. What is Boxing Day? Is that like a Canadian thing?
Yeah. Okay. So you know how you've had Black Friday forever?
Right.
So Boxing Day for us was the day that everybody returned all their stuff the next day. And then Boxing Day was the day like Black Friday, where crazy,
Okay.
crazy deals. Like, but because it was only one day of the year, like I remember going to Future Shop at like 4 in the morning, and then you would just wait in a huge line to try and get in for one of the Boxing Day sales because it was like bonkers. Like they would effectively were like, we're gonna give two of these away for free, but there's only two, and like a million people would show up for it. Yeah, so it was interesting, but yeah, that's what Boxing Day is. It's kind of like our Black Friday, but now it doesn't matter, right? Like Black Friday kind of took over all that.
Yeah. Hell, anywhere you get online, every day is Black Friday. All you gotta do is shop around. You'll always find a better deal.
That's the thing, man. Like now that I've got my Amazon account, I'm like, sure, wish I had this, and I will go on there, and it's so cheap because these people they have it in like storage lockers. They don't you don't have to pay for
Right.
the sales associate and the building and the company. It's like it's Susan's storage locker.
Mhm. Dude, I did. So I got my wife and then three children. I got another one on the way, obviously, and then I got a brother and sister and nephews and nieces that I shop
Jesus.
for.
Hmm.
I didn't order a single item online for Christmas.
Good for you.
I just don't like it. I mean, if I can avoid buying anything online, I will. One, I like the interaction in a store, but two,
Yes.
I need to physically hold and feel something before I purchase it.
Yeah, I mean, I got my dad a decanter, a whiskey decanter with some like nice whiskey stones and a couple of nice glasses. And it was way smaller than I thought it was going to be.
Hmm.
And then like I probably wouldn't have, or at least would have kept looking if I was standing in a store. But
Nice.
man, I was with Chad like 3 or 4 extra days, and I was still needing to do my Christmas shopping. And like when I came home, it was just this like tornado of 3 days of get all of Christmas done and the tree up, and yeah, it was a disaster. It wasn't. It was just very rushed, you know?
Speaking of Chad in Illinois, dude, I you put a fair amount of content on the gram over it, but how was it?
It was
What'd
so
you
good.
what'd you think of our great state?
I love it down there. I've said it a few times. I would flourish down there.
Yeah,
It's just like, if you want to work hard, there's more than enough work. And if you're not an idiot, everybody needs you. Like
it's everywhere around here.
yeah, man.
No one does it. No, I don't know the phrase that people do it, but they're not qualified. They're not skilled. They don't take pride. It's just it's burn and turn with a lot of these companies around here.
Yeah. Where you just kind of like make it on to the next and make it on to the next.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's good enough. Good enough. Yeah. And
Yeah.
surprisingly, there's not a whole lot of auto tapers, especially like I'm only 2 hours north of Chad, and there's not a lot of guys in my area. And the big city that's right 10 miles from the city I live in, the town I live in, it's 146,000. And I know a lot of the tapers here, and I can count on one hand guys that run auto tools from start to finish. It's
That
crazy.
it's just nuts. But I mean, why? Yeah.
Well, so in I live in technically I live in the state capital in Springfield, and within a 90-mile radius of the state capital, there's only like three stores that even you can even go buy a flat box and a bazooka. One in a town of 140,000, there's only one store.
That makes sense to me.
Hmm.
Like if you're not like heavily onto social media and these things aren't even in the stores that you go to, how the fuck do you even know about them?
Right. But
Yeah.
they've been around since the 70s. You know what I mean? It's not
I,
like it's new technology.
I was I felt like an idiot when I found out how long they'd been out. Like when the first time I ever saw an auto tool, Brad got his Predator. And I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. This is all brand new. Now I'm stoked. And I got into it all. And then like a year later, somebody was like, yeah, dude, they've been out for a long time.
Hmm.
And then you're like, oh, like how long?
Like longer than you've been alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they're pretty cool, man. Like I said, I've got one. I don't know how to run it. I
The
don't
auto
have a
taper?
Yeah, I don't have a need. I bought one. I bought a used level 5. It was like new used. Like the guy
Mhm.
ran a roll of tape through it, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go back to my banjo. This just isn't for me."
Yeah.
I got a steel for it, and I can't even use it now because my Columbia mud pump walked off the job site a couple months
Ugh,
back.
that
Yeah,
drives me fucking crazy.
yeah, and since I'm not running Elite full time right now yet, I just haven't had the need to replace it. So I just bought a box filler for my compound tube, and it
Mhm.
worked out well. I make it work,
Yeah,
but
I
man, I miss.
mean, that was my first move is I had the a compound tube with a box filler on the end of it. And
Yeah, but I can't even run my angle boxes. You know what I mean? I can't. There's no way to
yeah,
fill them up. I tried to do it with my tube and or pop the back off, but it's such a pain in the butt. There's just no efficiency to it.
no, that's crazy trying to do that.
So now we're back to just tubing and flushing everything, which I like. You know, I do so much remodel work. I'd rather use a flusher on remodel, you know, old to new than
Mhm.
use an angle head. It seems to work better.
When you're doing like steel stud commercial work, you can't beat an angle head because everything is perfect. Right. But when you're doing a remodel, like you're gonna be all over the place. Like you just want that flusher to like make sure that there's a corner there that you can either build out or sandbag. Yeah, it's a lot more forgiving.
Yeah, yeah. Which we've got. I went by site after work today. That house when we talked on the phone last week. That house I got
Yeah.
I got the borders there right now. In 14 hours, they put up three guys. Mind you, one of them is 60 plus. They put up 185 sheets.
Holy
They
shit.
were cooking. And I don't know how they did it because I went
Holy shit.
they did a full 9 hours yesterday. I went over there at like 1:30. The entire lid was hung, 9 foot ceilings, and then the kitchen and living room had a 12-foot vault, and they had the entire lid hung in half the house. It was impressive. I was blown away.
I'm impressed.
Blown
Yeah,
away.
I think you're like looking for 40 or 50 sheets or something for like guys that are really moving.
Mm-hmm.
At
Well,
least union guys that are really moving. I think it's 40 or 50 sheets a day or something. I don't remember.
yeah,
Holy shit, man. That's
it was crazy.
flying.
Unless my sheet count was off, but I went and counted stacks afterwards, and I'm like, dude, this is like 180 plus sheets you guys have banged up today.
Hmm.
And they did a fire separation wall as well before they even started hanging the lid.
Yeah, so that's probably double 5/8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so
no, it's a barn dominium. So half of it's 5/8 OSB, and then the other side is fire tape 5/8 rock.
okay.
Yeah, which
Still.
yeah, it's still a ton of work. But I was so blown away, and I couldn't have been happier with how things were going. Which I bought a tripod for my phone, so when we start taping this house out, I'm gonna try to record it. But you know, being a one, I have another taper coming in with me on this one. An older guy, well, not older, he's late 40s, but he's been in the game his whole life. You know how it is. You get in the zone and you get a groove going. It's like the last thing I'm thinking about is pressing record and saving videos or what looks good.
Okay, so I'll give you a hint or I'll give you a suggestion. Draw a circle on the ground in the same spot,
Mm-hmm.
right? And put your tripod there. And on day one, start from the left side and work to the right. And on day two, put the tripod in the same spot, one to the other, but do a time lapse.
Yeah,
Just bang through it.
yeah.
That's what I found when I went full time. Like when I started taking on big houses, was like, I don't have fucking time to be making tons of crazy content. Like before, when I was doing the jobs, if they wanted me to come in and do it, I'd be like, I'm going to do a really good job, but it's going to take a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were okay with that, it was great because I could set up all kinds of content and shit. But when you're just banging the workout, dude, time lapse is your friend.
Right. Yeah. I got two GoPros, a Hero 7 and a Hero 8.
Oh,
I thought about setting those up, but I don't even know how to work them. My 10-year-old knows how to work them better than I do because he takes them and he straps them to his hat or to his chest when he goes fishing and whatnot, and records all of his fishing adventures.
that's dope.
Yeah, it's cool. So I figured I could set one of them suckers up somewhere and just record the whole thing.
I'd like a GoPro just for the fact that it's got a fucking memory card and it's not like a terabyte on my phone.
Right. Oh yeah.
Like that. I would really like to get into some sort of a GoPro or external unit, right? That has a decent camera. That's the reason I'm doing it through the phones. Is the phones cameras are fantastic, but
Well, doesn't Cam record a bunch of his stuff with a GoPro, and his stuff
Yeah.
is always so clean and sharp.
Shout out to Cam and his
Right.
dope, super dope content.
That kid's got it figured out with content.
Oh, dude. So you know what was funny is we had all been sent that 5.5 Fat Boy box,
Hmm.
and I think everybody made content except Cam. And so when we went down there, he was like, "Yeah, I didn't make my content yet." And I was like, "Dude, when you make your content, some like it's always the dopest. Like he's got his shit figured out." And then his basically the content that he made was that fishing video. And it was way cooler than anybody else's, right? It was like a team effort a little bit, but it was like he's just got it figured out. He can edit that stuff and he's like super creative.
Was that the same trip where you were grilling him? You had him
Yeah,
sit
it was the
in the
same
angry
day.
smoker. Yeah,
Okay, I was
dude, that was so funny.
a little behind the scenes on that. So I'm filming everything that those two are doing. And it's a first take the whole time. Aaron turns around, oh yeah, they're fucking this one and this, like it, and it was perfect. And then Cam pulled the thing in perfectly. They got it in the net, and that was it. And I was like, jackpot. You're like, we don't need this. I don't even need to be a part of this. So as we're editing it, we've been drinking since then all the way through the day. So I'm plowed at this point. And Aaron's like, well, I guess you gotta cook it. So in that, like, I'm like 10 or 12 drinks deep in that video.
It's so awesome, dude.
And same thing, one take. I don't know how the hell we did it, but
It funny though, because it was like the perfect mix between this is a staged parody, and then you guys just having a blast doing it. It felt so natural, but it was so fucking funny.
yeah, I mean, a lot of good things came from that trip, man. Just knowing that we could all hang out for a week and not get on each other's nerves, and that we
Was
could
that
like,
that was the second time you guys all got together, wasn't it? Or that was after Vegas?
yeah, that was the next big one after Vegas.
All right.
Yeah, we had the thing at Columbia. Nick did a feature wall there, and then we went and did a bunch of fresco for Aaron's parents.
Hell yeah, dude.
It was a good time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Ugh. My eye keeps twitching. I don't know what it is about this bright light I got on my computer desk, but the eye I got shot in. It keeps making it twitch.
Well, dude, it was like an interrogation. Like when you turn that thing on the first time, I was like, I hope he doesn't leave it like that. He'll be blind.
Which I'm gonna send you that picture. I put it on IG for like 2 days, and then everyone was like, "You should probably take that down until we get some things figured out." Yeah,
Buddy, that scared the shit out of me.
but I've got like 60% vision back in this eye, so we're not blind. That's all that
So
matters.
for everybody listening, why don't you tell the story if you want to? You don't have to
Yeah,
tell them, but I mean,
for sure. So, my partner Nick and I, we were framing up a second story uh, office suite in one of the buildings that our boss owns, and it was Thursday. It was hot out. It was the end of the day. We put up like 400 studs already, and we were ready to call it quits. But we wanted to get all the top plates secured for the wall ties. So it was a 9 foot wall. So my partner Nick was on the ladder, and we had the laser up, but something didn't look right. So I wanted to put a level on this wall tie, and I looked up at him. I said, "Hey, it's plumb. Shoot it." And I had my safety glasses on the bridge of my nose. And when I said shoot it, he instantly pulled the trigger. And I don't know if you guys know this, but all lumber sucks now.
yeah,
It's wet and heavy or super dry and hollow. And a 3 1/8 inch hot dip framer blew through that top plate and went right through the center of my eye and cracked my orbital bone and went about a 1/4 inch into my right front lobe of my brain. And it sucked. It was
yeah,
a shitty day. So when he shot me, I grabbed my face, and we're always joking around with each other, shooting nails from across the room, throwing tools. He's like, "Hey, are you good? You good?" And I felt that nail, and I dropped my tool bags and said hospital now, and ran down
yeah,
2 flights of stairs and tried to get into the van and stumbled and fell. And I'm like, "You better call an ambulance. I don't feel so good."
yeah.
And had that nail sit in my eye for 22 hours before they pulled it out. I had to get helicopter flow into a different state. It was quite the ordeal.
You scared the shit out of me, man.
It was gnarly.
I think I was working with Nate that day. I'm trying to remember who I was with that day, but they were like, "Oh, look at this." And I was like, "Man, that sucks." Like, because I looked at it and then I was like, "Who is that again?" And it like all within a second. And then I don't, I don't even think I texted you. I think I sent you a video.
Yeah, you sent me a message,
Yeah, because I was like, "Man, are you good?"
and
That's one.
I
That's one
was
of
I was
those. Sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I just mean that's one of those quarter-inch moments, right? Where it's like that would have
Well,
been the end of
the
that,
the doctor, I was cool. Like I never lost consciousness. They
dude.
pumped me up with all sorts of really good stuff in the ambulance. And my wife and sister met me at the hospital, and they took me in and got MRIs and X-rays and scans, and I was fine. I'm like, hey, if I go blind, I go blind, but at least I'm not dead. And
100%.
the doctor comes in, he's like, so we can't pull the nail out, and I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, it's about a quarter inch in your brain right now, and if we pull it out, you're gonna hemorrhage and bleed. And then that's when I might have got a little hysterical after that. You know what I mean? Because they went and put me in this machine. They're like, okay, you have to be in here for 10 minutes and you can't move or talk. And I'm like, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
thanks for telling me that, by the way. So
Because that's all you're thinking about
yeah,
in your fucking.
long story short, the next morning they flew me to Columbia, Missouri, and pulled it out. And I was there for 2 days, and then we got to drive home. And our company's insurance company was like, hey, we're going to give you 160 weeks off at 3/4 scale. And I went back to work 11 days later.
Mhm. You're like, I'm not staying home. This is crazy.
I was like rearranging the house, and I color coordinated all the kids' clothes in like the first 2 days. And so I convinced the doctor to let me go back on super light duty, nothing over 5 pounds. He said, basically, you're going to sweep a broom. The next day, we were back to banging sheets of drywall on the wall and standing up walls.
Well, they probably didn't want your blood pressure to go up because you're healing still, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary shit, man.
Yeah, it
But
was not.
good.
Yeah.
Good to hear it. And good to hear everything went well.
Yeah. They didn't let me keep the nail though. I was pissed about that. I
That's
wanted to keep
fucking
the nail.
pisses me
Yeah.
off. Like, what are you gonna do with it?
Right. Dude, I remember when the fire department showed up. They got there before the EMS services did, and I was a volunteer firefighter for a number of years in EMT, so I know a lot of these guys. And they pulled up, and I'm like rolling around on the ground moaning, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I rolled over and looked at them. They're like, "Oh fuck, don't move." I'm like, "Yeah, you think?"
Is that what's wrong with this idiot? Is that a nail in your eye? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not an idiot. I'm doing my best.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, it's all good. I got like 60% vision back in it, and
Do you think that'll come back 100%?
no, what it is now is what it is.
Yeah.
So, in I don't know if it's, I know it's like in our state in Illinois, they'll operate on your eyes twice, and then after that, they won't do it again. You're just wherever you're at. That's it.
Okay.
So they said we can try to put a balloon in your eye and do some nerve repair, but it's a 50-50 shot. And I was like, I can tolerate it. I got glasses. I'm supposed to wear them, but I never wear them. But boy, do I wear my safety glasses.
No shit. I bet you got a nice pair now.
I had them on. They were just on the bridge of my nose
Yeah.
instead of over my eyes. You know how it is, big fat guy sweating around, fog up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You're dripping fucking sweat onto them. Like, I know how it is.
So what do you
Ah.
got? What do you got coming down the pipeline these days? Any big cool jobs coming up?
Um, well, you know about Surrey, right?
A little bit. I catch bits and pieces from the podcast, and then
Yeah.
sometimes you guys will drop a little hint or something on the IG, but mostly just from the podcast talk.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
got some big time players coming out there, man. It's gonna be crazy.
it's gonna
Like
be
the
pretty
best of
dope.
the best.
I think so. It's some of the best
What
for
I- what I
sure.
what I think is really cool is you got, and correct me if I'm wrong, you have an array of people from like some crazy insane hand tapers all the way to people who can dance with a bazooka and everything in between.
Literally.
And you're all going to just jive on one big job, and then you're going to fresco it, correct?
Not the whole, well, we don't know yet. We don't know the whole scope of the fresco yet. We're just waiting on the designer to come back, but there's going to be a considerable amount of fresco.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know how long Teek's been on semi-auto and automatic tools, but I think she is just like a rock star hand taper.
Uh-huh.
And then the girls are knife and trowel,
Hmm.
right? And I mean,
I love watching their content. The way
oh
they
dude,
just tote that bucket around like it's nothing.
fucking effortlessly it
Yeah.
looks like. Yeah.
Well, the way
It's impressive.
the way they it's not even that. It's the way they flow with it. I mean, they move with such efficiency. It's
Mhm.
crazy.
That
I've tried it, and it doesn't work for me. I'm fumbling around everything, and I'm a hawk and trowel guy. I can't. It just doesn't work for me. But I love watching them do it.
yeah, I mean, what I'm finding more and more now that I'm working with people is the people that are really good, all of their movements are with intention. Like
Hmm.
you know that it's like watching a professional throw a three-pointer.
Right.
Like you know that person's done that a million times.
There's no
Uh
waste movement. It's like second nature.
and it's just whoop whoop whoop, right? And the other cool part about that is Chad and Cam are pretty well 100% automatic finishers,
Hmm.
right? So that like meeting in the middle, it's gonna be so dope.
Yeah. It'll give everyone a great opportunity to learn new skills. That's the other great part.
Well, and it's not like this is a house full of six people that are kind of clunky and, we really need the whole week to do this. Like I think half of us could do this
Oh
if
yeah.
if we like put the balls to the wall, but with the six of us now, it's like, let's get halfway through a day by 10 o'clock and then fucking all play around with the tools and do this and do that. I think it's just gonna be nothing but fun, man.
What's the board footage on this house, if you don't mind me asking?
30,000.
But you're doing a big fucking house.
It's a big fucking house, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's six bedrooms upstairs. I think almost all of them have an ensuite and a closet. Like it's a big footprint.
And you guys are doing a lot of cool specialty bead.
We're gonna try. So Trimtex sent the designer out catalog and like a sample kit, and I kind of picked like outside chamfer and then inside inverted and shadow bead, a couple of things, and then they sent her like articles on each one.
Hmm.
So it's just going to give her an idea of what we can do, right? Because it's until you get everybody involved, people don't even know about trim tech stuff.
Right.
It sky's the limit with them, right? It's especially before, and I think that's the problem is nobody was bringing it up before. Like they had tons more stuff.
Oh yeah.
um but you can't be mass producing this shit if nobody's using it.
Right. There's got to be a market for it, which is crazy because I taught myself on Trimtex bead. You know what I mean? I was running Trimtex vinyl bead before I was even putting paper face up.
No shit.
Yeah. When I started, teaching myself how to tape, and I went to my material yard. Now that I buy all my stuff from, he was like, "You ever used vinyl?" And they only sold Trimtex. I'm like, "Nope."
Mhm.
He started me on vinyl, and I never went away from it. Now I use a lot of no coat and paper face just for efficiency, but
Yeah,
when I have to, like Trimtex jumbo bead, that is my go-to.
it's the best. It takes a little bit more to fill it, but you can just put it on anything and it works.
Anything.
Yeah,
When you got double stack rock on the walls, for fire separation walls or for
yeah.
sound barrier,
Where they
that's
fuck
all
that 5/8 up, where instead of like overlapping, they double, and
double each
then
side.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can't. I mean, you can, but it looks super shoddy if you try
Oh.
and bead that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, dude, fucking love trim techs. We learned steel. Everything was steel. And I got super good at it. Like I know I call it dinosaur bead because it's fucking trash. But
It feels really nice though.
it's fucking yeah, like that. I got if you can put that in, you can put in trim techs, no problem.
Hmm.
The way that I was taught is if you got a three-way outside three-way, you should be able to run your finger on that without getting like a scratch or burr or anything. So everything fits nice together. So then when you do the plastic, and then when the plastic comes up and something's a little bit out, just a little bit of sandpaper, and oh, look, that's perfect.
That, and if your frame's off, like on a soffit or a bulkhead
Hmm.
or whatever, you can tweak it how you need it to be, and that's
Yeah.
a huge plus.
I don't remember the last time that I used metal but it was recently. Like it was this, might have been last year. It had to have been last year. But I cut the shit out of my hands, like just because I'm so spoiled with plastic now that I'm just like cutting and moving and like doing all kinds of. My hands were just mangled.
I bought one of those advanced equipments. I call it the mini hopper.
Yeah, they're dope.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're awesome. Which shout out Ice Rock.
yeah.
Ice Rock is sending me a little package. He's sending me the mount to go on a 5-gallon bucket for those hoppers, and an offset knife and a couple of other slick little tools to try out.
Good,
Super
man.
to get that and get my hands on that.
Advanced uh just said that they want to get involved with this BC trip.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, uh sorry, I got these pouches in.
Yuck. I've got a joke about pouches, but I can't say it on the podcast.
It's just the nicotine pouch.
That's what I'm talking about.
Really, tell your joke. I want to hear it.
Can't tell. Text it to you.
Nobody listen. Oh, okay. If it's bad, bad.
It's pretty bad.
Ah,
It's not the worst, but it might offend some people maybe.
probably for the better.
Yeah.
Um, that's the kind of shit that's gonna get me in trouble one day because somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, okay," just tell the joke, and you're like, "Oh, never mind."
Mm-hmm. My grandpa told it to me, so I mean it can't be too bad.
Yeah, it's from a different time though.
Yeah.
I like that. You ready for the little one or what? Like this is just the next one, right? Or what? Is it a nightmare?
Okay, so I had a vasectomy over I think 14 months ago.
Jesus.
You know, my wife and I have got 3 amazing kids, soon to be 10, 5, and almost 2. And we talked about it. I turned 32 on January 12th, and my wife will be 35 in May. And we're, our house is set up how we need it. We were ready to get these kids grown up so we could do some stuff together because everything's about these rascals. And the good Lord had other plans. So
Somebody hit that fucking reset button.
So when she told me that, she called me crying, and like most men who've had
Right.
who've had a vasectomy and their wife tells them they're pregnant, a certain thought goes through their head that they cannot say. So I called my doctor and went and got checked, and he's like, "Yeah, man, you're still firing on all cylinders."
Oops.
Oops, oops. But that's all right. All these vaccinated people and whatnot, people are gonna be coming to me, and I'm charging 10 grand pop.
Yeah. See? That's
Oops.
fucking hilarious. It's a gift. It's a
It's a
babies are always a gift.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, I everything I do is for my kids, and I love being a dad. And it's like when my wife told me, she was like, "What are we gonna do?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What are we gonna do? There's only one option. Let's celebrate and
Mm-hmm.
be happy about it because there's
Mm-hmm.
no other option. You know what I mean? Anyone that gets sad or upset about something like that, figure it out. Don't figure it out. There's only what are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like, I
The
guess
first thing that popped into my head, I was like, "Yes, I'm gonna build an addition on the house."
yeah, right.
I was like, now we're gonna start talking about. I've been wanting to do something with our house, and our house is almost paid off as is. I'm like, let's build onto it because the market's so shit right now. Why sell and make money and go dump it into something else?
No, just I I I I want everybody to come to that realization of like the house that you're in that you paid way less for than what it's worth now. Do some cool shit to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like make some cool shit at your fucking house. Like I don't understand.
Although I don't know what the market's like up north where you guys are at, but interest rates around here are holding between like 7 to 9, depending where you go, which is crazy high because I'm at like a
Yeah,
2.4.
we're totally fucked.
I think, and I only say this because I work for one of the biggest real estate developers in our area. My partner Nick and I, we manage and build out over 1.5 million square feet of commercial real estate. He is telling me that all these people who are afraid to pull the trigger on property right now, in 3 to 5 years, are going to be kicking their ass just like
Yeah.
they are doing right now, saying, "Why didn't I buy?" 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It's only going to get worse, so you might as well get in right now.
Yeah, when I was in my 20s, I
How old
was
are you, if you don't mind me asking?
37. I'll be
Okay.
38 in March.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're not bad.
No, just
Yeah,
it's just the beard, man. If I shave this beard, I look like a 15-year-old.
me too.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe I'm old as fuck now, but it's just been a while. But I don't think so. When I shaved my mustache, everybody was like, "You look super young."
You did, and I just couldn't do it. I
Uh,
just see the pictures. I twisted it up and curled it, but I can't. It's my beard is crazy short right now.
yeah. Well, so I for New Year's I went and got cleaned up. This barber goes a little fucking out of control. I'm trying to grow this out, and he's like, "Yeah, okay," and then he just does whatever he wants, anyways. Yeah, I'm like, whatever.
They don't care.
But I'm not shaving my beard again like till the summer. I want to get a big beard again. I look back at some of my like carpentry pictures and I got like a 300 beard, you know?
Mhm.
And I was like, yeah, where did that go?
Dude, if you scroll back to on my business Instagram back to when I was building decks and doing, big residential frame outs and whatnot, I'm like 35, 40 pounds lighter. 1.5 kids ago, my beard's down to the center of my chest. I'm like, who's that handsome fella?
Yeah,
The good old days.
that's exactly what the wife said. And because of that, you have all these kids. And that is the circle of life. As long as one of them can grow a beard, just keep her
Yeah.
going. Yeah, man. I mean, if I would love to have more kids because I like babies, I like kids. I just I understand where 18 years from now is. What's up, little buddy?
Hold on, my son cut his finger. No, you're okay.
I've had it since my mom's house.
Get out of here.
Just get some dirt, rub it in there.
I'll be bacon.
Don't be vaping. He's giving you shit. But I'm excited for grandkids. I never understood why everybody was like, when are you guys going to have kids? And we were like, get the fuck out of here. We're just having fun or
Mhm.
whatever. But now, as an adult that's deciding not to have any more kids, I can't wait for grandkids.
Right.
Just spoil the shit out of them, spend a bunch of time with them.
Yeah, well, so my wife, her big thing is she's like, we're never gonna regret having all these kids. Just when they get older and get big and have families of their own, we just get to continue on with their kids. I'm like,
Yeah,
bullshit. I put in my time. I'm gonna enjoy my 60s and 70s.
nice.
Papa's gonna be living.
So my grandma and grandpa did that, where they just put their fucking time in and then hopped in an RV and we chased them around in my childhood. Like we went down to Myrtle Beach and caught up with them. We caught up with them in Florida one time. And it was like you could see them as much as you wanted if you went to them. And it was a fucking adventure. So it was great.
Oh, for sure.
What do you okay, so what's your retirement looking like? Perfect world.
Um,
Can't
I
win you can't win the lottery. This is we gotta settle
uh,
down a little bit.
there was an unfortunate circumstance that happened 6 years ago, and my father passed away,
Oh,
and
sorry to hear that, dude.
inherited a little bit of money, and I knew if I didn't do right by it, I'd blow it all.
Yep.
Like I put a massive down payment on my house, bought a new house, went through like 7 trucks, a couple Harleys. I would
7 trucks.
buy them and I'd lift them and put rims and tires on them, then sell them to some 18.
Yeah,
But
because you know what? Driving the truck that you've put all the work into isn't cool. It's putting the work into it. Oh no, did you freeze? No, you're good. You're good.
mhm,
Yeah, building the cool shit that everybody wants, I think would be more fun than having some.
right, and but what I ended up doing is I set some CDs up, some Roth IRAs, and a 401, not a 401k, it's a 401 something. I've got a family member that's in that industry and basically wrote him a check and said, "Hey, I want my at the time my 2 children. I want an account for each of them that they can either buy a house or go to school with, and I want that to grow and I want that to accrue and keep revolving, and then I want a little nest egg for my wife and I."
Yeah, I mean,
That's and then
that's
I put a little bit of money into some stuff here and there, but dude, the
no, we're frozen. Oh my
you're
God,
frozen, yeah,
the way oh okay, all right. You were like this.
yeah. The world's expensive, dude. I mean, it's to feed a family of 5. I mean, I spend $1,200 a month on groceries.
Yeah, that's
We-
wild.
And I, but I, that being said, I love to cook.
Mhm.
I don't cook pasta box dishes or like what's it called? Rice, not rice roni, but hamburger helper.
Yep.
I don't cook. I cook a meal every night.
Nice.
I cook a breakfast for my kids in the morning and we pack lunches, and that, it costs a lot of money once a month, but it beats going to the gas station twice a day or running through a McDonald's fucking drive through, putting that poison in your body.
Man, I'm telling you. So while I'm down there, I am blasting through money because it's like you're getting your gas station food and then you're getting gas station lunch, and if not, you're going to a place for lunch.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean the food's pretty cheap down there, but like the quick accessible food is not.
Yeah, and it's all poison though, man. Like I
Oh,
and
it's fucking terrible for you. Yeah.
I was guilty for a lot of years. I loved those hot plate sandwiches at a gas station. They taste awesome, but it's straight soybean burger and chemicals. But
Yeah.
now I kind of watch what I put into my body and my kids' bodies a little bit. Not that we're health freaks by any measure, but red dye and shit like that we try to avoid.
Yeah, I mean, even sugar to a certain amount, like it's like there's a certain amount where it is like excessive. And then
Mhm.
sometimes
Oh,
it's like, yeah, it's nice to have a little sweet treat or whatever, but it's
well, my son came home from school one day and he had a can of Arizona green tea. I don't know if you know what that is. It's
oh
just
yeah.
yeah. It has 96% of your daily recommended intake of sugar in it. And I'm like, you're done.
Yeah, you're done for the day, big guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
It's yeah.
I remember a time when I thought that that was healthy
Right.
because it was green tea and I was smashing them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll drink like those Lipton green teas because there's hardly any sugar in them, but
Yeah, it's like a natural, like a tea with a, yeah.
yeah. My guilty thing is Diet Coke. It's got so much aspartame and just that whatever chemical in there, but I love them. I don't know why.
Yeah, I do Coke Zero and these Frescos or Frescas.
Yeah, my
But
kid.
they're delicious. And it's like we're starting to really get a lot of zeros up here. We have Sprite Zero, Dr. Pepper Zero. Like I've been pretty happy about it.
Yeah.
Um and then I can have a couple pops if I want. Like I drank a lot of pop as a kid, like cases. And it's something that especially when you start paying attention to the in and out, like the calories and sugar
Hmm.
and shit, it's like shocking that I'm not a diabetic.
Right. I'm with you on that one, buddy. Wait till you see if you stick with this carnivore diet. Wait till you get a month or two in, and like you're obviously you're gonna have. I don't want to call them cheat meals, but like you're not just gonna only eat proteins. You're
Yeah.
not, like for the longest, for the like 3 months straight, I ate 2 pounds of red meat a day, which is not a lot. Like it sounds like a lot, but when you quantify it onto a plate, it's not. And I would eat a pound of vegetables. It got to a point where like I was only using the bathroom once a week because my body was just burning everything I was putting into it. But I felt so good. I slept so good. I wasn't snoring. I still got sleep apnea, but it was nowhere near as bad as what it was.
Hmm. Yeah, they
There's just
said
so many health benefits.
so I've been listening to tons of people, Huberman and like more science-based people and then more like bodybuilding based people, and they
Mhm.
all seem to say the same thing. It's that satiation that you get from the meat, and then it's like some ridiculously high percentage of meat that you absorb. So
Mhm.
there's really nothing coming out
Right.
where you just go when you got to go, and then if you're finding it's like, you really got to go,
Mhm.
you just got to cut your fats down. That's what it sounds like. And I mean, I was ready for a nightmare first week, and I'm pretty good, man.
Oh yeah, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, day two in though, I was like, man, wouldn't it be good to get some cupcakes? I don't remember the last time I had a cupcake, but I was just like, man, and I really wanted one. But I think my body's just like, hey, remember all the sugar that you ingest? Can we just have that again? And it
Mhm.
got like, if I wasn't so aware of like how I feel from time to time, it like I don't know. It was just so weird, like addicted, you know what I mean? Like it was like Like your body was craving it.
You're cutting your body off of something you've been pumping yourself full of for the last
Yeah.
30 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
Um,
Ooh.
a couple of people are doing it,
Yeah.
especially on January. And I mean, everyone that I've talked to that's doing it is like, this is awesome. It's because I've dieted before. I've counted macros. I've done like all kinds of shit. This, you just eat meat and then you eat until you're not hungry anymore. And then when you're hungry, you eat more meat. And I had some killer headaches. That day two, day three, I had some pretty killer headaches and I like really wanted candy and shit. And then I kind of figured out just the sodium, putting some good quality salt in your water. um
No table salt, dude. Table salt is so bad for you.
no, I've got this red Mond. It's like from the earth, like it's
Mhm.
mined salt
Right.
as opposed to salt that's evaporated from the water. I guess it's a enormous difference, I guess. Yeah, that's cool. I don't know, it's working. I feel good. I feel fucking excellent.
Right.
I'm
That's
having
all that matters.
yeah, I had one coffee today. No, I had two because I had to go pee. I
I
didn't know
can't.
that we had a bathroom on site, so I like went and got another one.
I can't. I can't give up coffee. It's part of my morning to like lunchtime routine, and I refuse. But I don't. I drink black coffee with a Splenda packet in it and a
Mhm.
splash of cow's milk.
Nice.
Dude, that's my favorite thing in the world. My wife loves Starbucks, and she knows every drink and every variation. I go there and I say, I get a large black coffee, and I always make sure to say a large so I can be a dick.
Ah,
I get a large black coffee with a Splenda and some milk, and they'll like list off their milk, and I tell them, I said, as long as it comes from a cow's titty, I don't care what kind it is, just
he
cow
said
milk.
he said titty, and then now it's a big thing. There's protesters next time you go in.
Yeah.
Venti, venti. I went into a super bougie coffee place today. I had a fucking great day, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah, I had a fucking great day. I I I got up, hit the gym, went into Toronto, which is usually a nightmare,
Mhm.
and smooth sailing whole way
Okay.
there. I go around the block because I wanted to see where our site was. And as I'm coming around the block, there's an open parking spot, which there's none in Toronto. I pull right in, and Steve was like a half an hour later than when I was going to be. He had some meetings and shit in the morning.
Whitby?
So I was like, I think it'd be so great if there was a coffee place, but that would be a nightmare. And I like look to my right, and there's like a bougie little coffee place.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, man, this is awesome. I go in and I'm like, can you make me like an iced coffee black? And he's like, yeah, we call it an iced Americano, which is just a shot of espresso effectively.
Mhm.
But he like fills the cup with ice, fills it half full with water, pushes the espresso, and it was perfect.
That's
It was,
awesome.
I loved it. Yeah, it great. And then we killed it. And then I came home, traffic wasn't bad. It was a good day.
Yeah. Were you working with Whitby? Steve Whitby?
Yeah, those guys are maniacs.
Dude, him and John are such characters. When he did the Advent beer calendar, like it was my highlight of the evening to look down at 7:59, 8 o'clock in the States here and go, woo. Because I would talk shit in the comments the whole time, and I jumped on like every other day just to talk with them. And before you know it, we'd be on for an hour and a half talking about absolute nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, I had so much fun with that. I- that is the one thing that I think is the difference between a podcast and a going live. Because if he did that once a week, nobody would miss it.
No.
You know what I mean? And he's definitely gotten some push to get back on there. So I think he should go on at least once a week and do it because chirping in the comments was awesome.
And
And
everyone chimed in too. That was the best part.
man, that one night we were like, where's the box? Right? Like, because everybody knew that came in, he wanted to show it again. And I'm like, we got to drink every time he shows the box. Like,
His mom was always on.
oh, yeah.
She
Yep.
kept putting the box emoji, and I'd been drinking, and I didn't realize the pun when I typed it. I said, Steve, I love how your mom keeps showing the box. And he like when he read it, I saw the look on his face. He's like, not sure what you mean by that. And I messaged him. I'm like, no, dude, I love how she every time a new
Yeah.
comes on, she lets you know. But looking back on them, like I could have worded that way better.
You sent him a private message after, like, so hey,
I'm not a dick,
that's
I
not what I
promise.
meant. Oh yeah, it was great. We had a couple of good nights. I went on a couple of nights too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did too. Yeah. Which was, I mean, that was a blast.
And I didn't I'd been following him for a while. I think I found him through your page because you're always tagging him.
Hmm.
And I just one day I was doing something in my garage watching him, and I'm like, I'm gonna request to join. And we talk on IG, not all the time, but we shot messages back and forth. How you doing, man? Hey, just checking in, catching up. And you create a relative friendship that way with a complete stranger.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah. And him and I've got the same just stupid sense of humor. And it
Mm.
worked really well.
So out of everybody that I've met through this thing, I've gotten along with everybody. Cam and I have a pretty good sense of humor. Like we're always laughing. Me and Nate too, but that like type of sense of humor that Steve has, I've not met anybody else that is not a complete degenerate
Mhm.
that has that sense of humor. It's like you too, but I mean, it's Steve. It's just crazy.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. His dad's the creator of the three-way.
Yeah, Royce. Yeah,
Awesome. What an
yeah.
awesome product.
You can tell that he grew up around Royce. Like he is a master of finishing, man. Like, but when you see him running a trowel, he's like having fun and bullshitting, and he's doubling your output. And I mean, like, I'm kind of trying to hustle along to keep up with him.
Right.
In that big basement that I did out in Markham, he came in through his stilts on and hit the face of all the bulkheads, and then from like halfway up with the bulkheads, and I did everything from the ground to halfway and then boxed all the bottoms.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like you were fucking hustling to keep up. And he was just like, fucking around, walking around, taking his time. But everything's just, again, with intention,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when he's loading, it's like a full arm's length. And then he comes back and cuts it. And then one more swipe, 1, 2, 3, and he's done 6 feet. And then next, it's incredible to watch.
You don't get up on the stilts much, do you, Sean?
Never. I've been up on stilts once, and it was like baby deer shit. I got it on video. But Tool Pro sent me a set of stilts. I just need to lose some weight. Like
I'm 260 pounds and I dance. I go live all the time because we do a big part of what I do is drop ceilings.
yeah.
There's just the only way to be efficient on a drop ceiling is to do it off of stilts.
So
And I rock some cheap Amazon stilts and they go all the way up.
really,
Yeah, they're rated for 220 pounds. All I did was put comfort straps on them and I cranked those suckers all the way up 5 foot. I mean, I'm palming 12-foot ceilings and
wow.
I dance on, which it's funny because I see Cam's stilt videos are awesome. He can
Oh
like
yeah.
skate on them, and then I'm like, I can run around on stilts like that. And I do it all the time, but it's funny to see a skinny guy like that, and then a big boy like me on stilts just dancing around like it's nothing. One of these days I'm gonna fall and bust my ass, but
Oh, totally. But just don't do it when you're fucking around, and then it won't be your fault.
right.
um, yeah. So I think when they sent them to me, I bet you I was like 310. I
Really.
bet. Yeah, and I'm somewhere around 305 now. I bet you if I weighed myself, I'd be about 300 pounds now because I can tell I'm starting to lose. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just being comfortable up on them. And like I talk to guys where they're like enormous people are up on these things running around and then nothing fails. And when it says 260, that's probably maxed out running, you know what I mean? Putting a bunch of pressure on them. I don't need anything maxed out. Like my
They have,
reach,
they have to put some sort of disclaimer on there so that way if something
totally.
goes wrong. So I don't know. I've had mine maxed out at almost 5 foot running boxes, and I've never had any issues. which that was the big learning curve. Setting ceilings and taping, running the banjo and running the hawk and trowel stilts, that was pretty easy. That just came naturally. But running a box, that took a while, and I'm still learning. But yeah.
Well, because you're putting pressure while trying to, like, you're moving that center of gravity all over the place. Yeah, when I see it, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna hop on my stilts, and then I see somebody doing something that I would be super uncomfortable doing, and I'd be like, maybe I'll weight him another 5 pounds.
Get on there and tear it up. You'd be all right.
Yeah, I think so too. It's we'll definitely get, I mean, I'm gonna have to get on them and somewhat comfortable before we go in February, because I don't want to be the only fucking person that can't wear stilts.
Yeah, but you're like 9 foot tall, so you're just
Well,
as
that's
tall
the
as
whole
everybody
thing.
else.
Like, I can box everything from the fucking ground. I can run the bazooka on a 10-foot ceiling, top corners. Like, I don't need stilts.
Right.
But when you're doing bulkheads and when you're doing like spot and screws and stuff, your first go, in picking three ways on stilts would be dope. I wouldn't have to fucking walk around with my three steps all over the place, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty efficient with those three steps. Like, 1 2 up, do your thing, and then you're on to the next one. It's a smooth moving machine, but the stilts is a game changer.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It was a huge investment on my part. It made my life so much easier.
Yeah.
Just quicker, efficient.
Hmm.
Yes, sir.
So what else is coming up for you? It just seems so steady.
Yeah. I mean, we've at work, dude, it's every other week we've got a new frame out. We got a new build,
Yeah,
and they all average about 2,000 square foot. And then I've got my old contractors that I still keep in touch with from when I was running Elite full time, and they're always throwing me like, "Hey, you want to do this?" And if it's a quick turnaround moneymaker, I'll do it. Like patches, I take all their patches because I can get 4 or 5 of them done in 8 hours on Saturday and click
totally.
be out. But um, I've got this house that I'll be starting in 2 weeks, and I'll send you the walkthrough video, or maybe I'll just post it on the Instagram. But I'm looking forward to that. And other than that, I got about 1 million square feet of ceiling to build, and that's
Well, and
about
that barn dominium, is that the one you're talking about?
yeah, the barn dough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for that for you, because it's all wide open to tape it. I think that you're gonna have a blast doing that, man.
I'll probably end up springing and ordering another Columbia mud pump just so I can learn. But the problem is I don't have anyone outside of YouTube and Instagram to teach me how to run that bazooka efficiently. You know what I mean? And the last time I tried it, I got it to run smooth, and then I got carried away, and it's like shit, my tape's already starting to tack up. I got to go wipe all this behind me. You know what I mean? It just for one guy, it just never really made sense.
When I finish the tube, I go put it in the cradle, and then I wipe all my tapes. Sometimes I'll fill it twice, but I mean, if you're doing it by yourself, it's like one go at a time and just take it easy. Because for everything that you've got to go back and correct, you might as well not have, you know what
Right.
I mean?
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
yeah, it's a lot of people take a look at that speed thing, but it's not speed if you're fucking fixing stuff, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
exactly. The clutch thing is when you've got people chasing you. When I went to Umbrella's site, Nick, he just paid me for the day. Bring your auto taper, and I just fucking ran through the house, and it was dope.
Hell yeah.
It was awesome. Like, and running all the corners, run the corners. Someone flushes, someone else is rolling. Like, it was crazy. Okay, so have you ever not used a roller when you're doing corners? Like, have you just hit the flusher?
Yes.
And how do you feel about that?
So when I run my flusher, I don't put a whole lot of pressure in it if I roll it out. You know what I mean? Um, but when I use it, if my roller's in another room and I need to get this shit wiped out real quick, I've noticed that more times than not, it leaves too much. Like the apex of your angle will still get crispy, but
Yeah,
the tape will hump, and
yeah.
as it's drying, it looks flat and it looks like it's a 90-degree corner. But when you go back to touch it up or do your second coat, there's always a hump behind the tape, and then
Yeah.
you got to come out and float it all out by hand.
Yeah, I wondered.
And then I tried one time to use my 3.5 inch angle head and in my box to see if I could float it out like that, and it didn't work. It piled on. Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't. I've got to roll it out.
Yeah, because I saw that today and I was like, that looks like it worked pretty good. But that roller is to bed the tape. The flusher is just to wipe it.
Right.
That's one of the big things I learned from Steve too, is like, don't even touch it. Just put it there and glide it. Like all the work of bedding the tape was done by the roller. Like with the flusher,
Yes.
you're just wiping it crispy.
Oh yeah.
It's all those little things, man. I've picked up so much little shit this year. Nothing huge fundamental change, but collectively the amount of little things have made an enormous difference.
Oh, absolutely. It's just a
Yeah.
little bit of finesse that what we were doing was working, but now what you're doing is killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I was having the same outcome before, but I was flushing it and then doing 2 coats of angles because my shit was too watery. Like I just like how smooth it was. It was easier, but
Mhm.
it's not easier when you got to do a second coat. And I'm sure I didn't have to. It's just that whole quality thing. But
Right.
when I saw, a flusher do its job properly, you're like, oh, that looks second coated. And he's
Mhm.
like, yeah, no shit. Right. And then you come back with a 3.5, I mean, and just take your time.
Yep.
Like if in, the way that I was looking at it, I'm doing 2 days worth of work in one day. If
Mhm.
I just take my time
Yep.
and
I
then you
I
get
wiped
fast.
mine. I wiped mine out with a 2.5 inch Columbia flusher,
Yeah.
and
Same.
then hit it with a 3 inch, and it's always so crispy. Mine are starting to get worn out. I need to replace them, and I've been given serious thought. I've got them. I've got an angle head.
Yeah.
I just I don't have a pump. I could wipe it out with that. There's no sense in toting it around and tearing it up if I don't have to.
This is the newer one, still got the wheels on it.
Mine has the wheels on it.
Um, I don't know. I don't like the black marks.
Mine,
Um,
I noticed mine always left black marks too. Maybe I thought I was just putting too much pressure in it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you take them off, they don't. I'll tell
Yeah.
you that. Actually, I'll tell you the first time that I did that, it was because Phil does it. I just wanted to see the difference, and I like it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not sure it's a huge difference, but I like it.
I remember when I first bought my angle box, I bought a 2.5 and a 3 because
Nice.
I watched Phil on YouTube from like 7 years ago, and he said I like to take the wheels off my 2.5 to flush my tape. So before I even ran it, I took the fucking wheels off of
Yeah,
it.
dude.
That's how I did it.
Yeah,
When I mean Instagram over the last 5 or 6 years, when I say Instagram taught me and then YouTube taught me how to finish drywall, that
totally.
was it. No one in my family did it. None of my friends did it. No one, I've met people over the years that have taught me some things, but like it was all on Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, I quit taping a long time ago. Taping fucking sucks. And then I found the auto tools. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, this doesn't suck now, right? And then there's auto sanders. So what are we even talking about? I
Like
love it.
I picked up the Hawk and Trowel because 2 years ago I stumbled upon Fresco Harmony's page
Nice.
and I wanted to like, oh, this looks sick. So I went and got a Marshalltown Hawk and a trowel. And the first time I tried it, I'm like, this is dumb. Threw it across the job site, and then
Hmm.
a couple months later, I picked it up, and now 99.9% of all my hand finishing, even my patchwork, is done with a Hawk and trowel.
Same.
Yeah,
I was a knife guy forever. Um, and yeah, it's like someone's handing you a weapon that you've never used before, and it's super stupid and clunky, and like it's off balance or whatever you think that it is. And then when somebody teaches you to use it properly, you're like, oh, this thing
right.
is like a bazooka compared to the pea shooter. Yeah, like because a 6-inch knife was typically what I had in my pocket before. Now I've got Hawk and Trowel, a 3 and a 4. Like
Mhm.
I carried the 3 and the 4 on me, and then obviously the Hawk and Trowel.
Right.
And the amount of material that you can move with a hawk and trowel is you cannot be matched with.
No.
It just can't. Even if you're doing a big 12-inch broad knife, you can only scoop so much onto that. When you've got a big 14 nice wide trowel, you can almost put a whole hawk of mud on that, and right, and then in one pass you've filled in a corner bead. Like, that's crazy.
I use that level 5 Superflex. It's a 12-inch, like 475 or whatever it is, 575, and I've worn it down to where it's just like it's second nature. I know I use the left side predominantly because I pull from the left to the right on everything, and
Hmm.
when I feather my runs, it's bottom, top, right down the middle, and it's right where I need it to be.
Yeah.
It works for me, and everyone laughs at me because I know some plaster guys up here that I've helped out on some stuff, and I hold my trowel upside down to where
Hmm.
the open end is facing up, and they think it's the weirdest thing. But I'm like, I started watching the drywall gangsters from Australia, and that's how they did it. So that's how I copied it, and that's how it's worked.
So I actually started doing it that way because I thought it looked cool. But the majority of what I'm doing now is all the right here.
Hmm.
Like, that's how I'm holding it, or it's like this and I'm holding that bar. Because
Hmm.
when I make a fist on that, I'm rubbing my knuckles into everything. Like, my hands are enormous, right?
Right.
So I had to give up on it. But that was my intention too, because I was like, this is cool, man. It's like a fucking like a jumpsuit handle or whatever.
A lot of the time, I'll put the tang. I don't know if it's called the tang on a hawk
Yeah,
or on
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
trowel.
I know
I'll
what you
put
mean.
I'll put the tang that U curve between my ring finger and my pinky finger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
I
you
hold
still
it.
have that control.
Yeah, yeah, and it works for me. There's a painter plaster in our area named Steve Lockwood, and I think he follows you. He was actually the first guy that ever hired my business to tape a house, and he didn't
Nice.
know me from anybody. He just threw me a bone, and we've had a great relationship ever since. And he does phenomenal plaster work. He does like Adobe finishes over brick with plaster. It's so slick, dude. And he first time he handed me that hawk, I scooped it up and it went bleh, and it all just fell down. He's like, "I'm paying you to get it on the wall, not on the ground." And I'm like, "Oh boy, this is gonna suck."
Yeah, when I finally taught myself I had to learn the hawk and trowel, I did a basement for my uncle.
Hmm.
It was just like we're just revamping a rental kind of thing, and do take your time, but we just want it done properly. And that's exactly what I did. I'm like ba ba ba, I'm like making the ball and doing all this shit. And then I go to put it on, and all I hear is this doof. And my shoe was covered in mud because I guess I was just holding it a certain way, right? But I don't know. Yeah, I dumped like a third of a hawk onto my fucking shoe. And then you're like, okay. Good thing that wasn't in front of anybody.
It's a learning curve, man. It really is. But
Uh,
anymore, it's the only way I can work.
so have you talked to Chad about the Indiana site?
No, I haven't talked to Chad. I don't know Chad like that. I remember, fuck, dude. I remember when I first started my business and I was trying to learn a couple of things. I shot him a message on IG because I heard him on the Drywall podcast, on Nick's podcast.
Yeah, he was like
And
number 4 or something too,
yeah,
wasn't he? He was super early.
he texted me his number. He's like, call me sometime. And he was like the nicest dude ever, man. You talk about just a true bare bones, no bullshit guy. That was what I got from Chad.
Yeah, Chad's legit. I really do believe that he's one of those people that like couldn't be bothered to lie to you.
Right.
Because it's like, why would I do that?
Right.
Right. And if you he is happy to pay you every cent that you earn too. Like a lot of people in that position, like, yeah, why don't you fly down here? And then they'll want to take the lion's share. Like, I almost have to like make sure he's good come payday too. Like, are we all on the same page here? Like, you're not overpaying everybody and getting nothing for yourself. Like, he's just such a good person. And he's like just hiding, just doing work all the time. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Chad's awesome, man. And I love watching his work. I love watching the stuff he puts on his page.
yeah, and his work's incredible. Yeah, I don't know. We should talk.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely. I'd like to, and dude, I felt so bad that I couldn't go down and see you and Cam and Nick and him because I was like, holy shit, all these people that are like in my mind, Instagram drywall celebrities and just awesome dudes I think I would jive with really, really well are like going to be in my backyard. But then you get the news that you're going to have another kid and some
I was
work
gonna say,
popped
dude,
up. It's just I couldn't step out for my wife and kids for a week to come hang out. But man, I wanted to so bad.
you've got a lot of shit on the go right now, dude. Yeah, it's not like you're sitting at home.
Well, it's like this house I'm going to tape. I'm not taking off any time from work to do that. We're going to do it over 2 weekends and in the evenings.
Yep.
And we just hustle. That's how this dude and I do it, and it works for us.
You're just gonna try and wrap it up in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're gonna do Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and some nights after work.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we got another house coming in I think probably April, something like that. I mean, for the 2 hours, just come for a couple of days.
Oh yeah, man, absolutely.
Or try to.
Yeah, I'll make it happen.
And if not, these things aren't stopping now. The ball's rolling, man.
It seems like you guys and Nick and this whole fresco adventure is just taking off, which is so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we got this figured out. And unless Surrey is an absolute shitbag disaster, which there's no possible way that it will be. I just don't see this not happening every couple of months, man. So we'll get you out to one.
Absolutely.
Anyways, so where can everybody find you, man? I know everybody knows you really well by now, but your Instagram.
Yeah, on Instagram you can find me at Elite Drywall Contracting, and that's it. I don't do Facebook or Twitter or anything like that.
Good for you.
Which it's awesome. I really appreciate the people that have commented on my posts. And I don't put a ton out there. I mean, 2/3 of it is my kids and our goofy adventures that we do. But I've been fortunate enough to have some really awesome people like yourself, Chad, Nick, Cam, Teak, all follow me and interact with me on Instagram. And I really appreciate that. It's been really awesome. And not that I'm a part of this community like you guys are, but it's cool to have your name recognized a little bit.
Totally. Yeah, you know what's fun about Teak? Today she was like, "Did you have a good day?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I had a good day." And I was like, "I'm having Elite on tonight for the podcast," and she's like, "Oh, he's the best." I was like, "Yeah, see, fucking I know that he's the best. I just love that everyone else does now."
Right.
And yeah, so that's really exciting, man. Thanks for coming on again.
Yeah, awesome, dude. I appreciate it. It's always fun to get on for a little while and talk and shoot the shit.
Yeah, totally, dude. Anytime. Literally anytime. Yeah, you got anything else to say? We'll wrap her up.
Keep up the good work, everybody.
Yeah. Everybody keep up the good work. Be
All right,
humble.
Johnny, good, brother.
Treat everyone the same and do your fucking job.
Have a good night, buddy.
Okay, buddy. Have a good one.